Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 43, I'll be tying the Bead Head Tan Caddis Emerger. It's a great pattern that I like to tie in sizes 14s and 16s. And also I like to trail it back behind the elk hair caddis. Great combination. Trout seem to respond to the emerger very well. So without further ado, let's get started. The Bead Head Tan Caddis Emerger. First step is placing the bead on the hook. This could be a little tricky. Remember, you have a small hole and a little bit larger hole. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but put the point of your hook through the smaller of the two holes and slide it up and over the hook, just like so. Now place the hook in the vise, and I need you to start to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. There's really not a well-defined shank of the hook here. It's more like you want to take it down to the critical bend, and that would be right in that area there. So I'm going to wrap thread, creating a nice foundation of thread down to that point. Clip off your excess. Now, the first step to this fly is putting on a trailing shuck, and we're going to use my a medium done sparkle yarn. You only need a couple fibers. This is a full piece, so I'm just going to kind of pull it apart. Maybe take 8 or 10 of the fibers. They're very fine, as you can see, and just kind of lay that on top of the hook. Secure it. Wrap that up to the bead. Just be careful it doesn't get away on you. Sometimes it could separate and turn into a big mess. Now, I'm up to the bead, clip off the excess. Got one wild one there, and wrap it back up, or back. You can see I have thread underneath the trailing shuck. I need you guys to make sure that it's all the way back. There we go. And I'm going to leave it long for now. We'll cut that off a little bit later. So now the fly calls for a ribbing. And for the ribbing, I'm going to use this copper wire, a very, very, very fine copper wire. And I'm going to tie that in just like I did the trailing shuck. And I want it right up against the trailing shuck. No spaces in between the shuck and the ribbing. And ride that excess all the way up the shank, like so, and then return your bobbin to the back. Now, for the body. The body for this tan caddis merger could be made out of my March Brown fur blend. And the color is very similar. So you want to take a good hunk of that and dub that about 3/4 of the way up the shank of the hook. Just form a nice skinny noodle, like so. This stuff dubs so easy. Look at that needle. Slide that into position up against the wire and the shuck, and start building your real skinny body. Start from the back and slightly overlap, working your way up. Okay. Obviously, we're going to need a little bit more. Just repeat the process. There we go. Nice and skinny. And we're going to go to about the 3/4 mark. I'd say right about there. It looks really good. Okay, pull off the excess. Now, get rid of all this, the remainder of that fur dubbing blend. Grab your ribbing. It's that fine copper wire. and begin to wrap equally spaced wraps around the abdomen that you just wrapped. Take your time. Gives it a really nice effect, as you can see. Okay guys, the abdomen is complete. Tie that off, secure that with 6 or 7 wraps. Clip off your excess. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the hook out of the vise a little bit and angle the hook down so I can get an idea how long I'm gonna make this trailing shuck. I'm gonna go probably 3/4 of the shank of the hook. There you go. Very simple. So we have our trailing shuck, our abdomen that's ribbed with copper wire, and the abdomen goes up 75% of the hook shank. Now for the legs. For the legs, I'm going to use speckled henback, and my good friend Evan from Sideling Hackle grows some incredible birds. My God, look at that. Incredible. That's where I get my hackle. Sideling Hackle. Evan Brandt. Not only does he do the wet fly necks, dry fly necks, saddles, he has it all, guys. Honest to God. High quality hackle for a reasonable price. So now I'm going to strip off the base of this soft hackle, speckled henback, and notice the curve. Curves up, curves down. We want it curving down and over the fly. And we're going to attach that right on the side. Now we're going to grab our hackle pliers, and we're going to grab the hackle so that it's perpendicular to the stem with our hackle pliers, and just get one full wrap tightly up against the abdomen. That's enough. Tie that in. Looks a little sloppy right now, but we'll clean it up. Clip off the excess. Kind of like comb it back. It's very webby hackle, and it does the job perfectly. There you go. So now we have our collar of legs, or the speckled henback, which is perfect. Now for the wing. The wing for this fly, we're going to use the medium Compara down here that you can find on my website, the medium shade. We're going to take about a half a gap's worth of the fibers. We're going to comb out any of the fuzz that you may see in between the fibers. Get rid of that. You can see that clearly. Then we're going to stack it. We're going to put it in our hair stacker. The natural ends versus the cut ends. We're going to put the natural ends inside the hair stacker. Just like so. Give that a couple good wraps. And there's our finished product. A nice knife edge cut. Take that out of your hair stacker. There's our wing. We're going to lay that. We don't want the wing exceeding the abdomen, so we're going to draw an imaginary line straight up, and we're going to grasp all that and secure it with 6 or 7 wraps. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clip off the excess. Starting to look good now. And wrap through the cut ends. Just to tie it all down. Good. Now we're going to take some more of our March Brown Fur blend, but this time we have a mixture, like a 50-50 mixture, as you can see, of my sparkle yarn. And we're going to use this to collar, or the front of this whole fly here. And you can see, I hope you could see, the sparkle yarn mixed in with the fur blend. So basically, it's like a 50-50 mixture. So let's return our bobbin to the correct area, right there, right up against the wing. And we're going to dub this mixture pretty heavy. And it's pretty easy to dub, just like all my blends. And I'm going to draw this back and put a nice thick collar on here. And we're going to pull back and define a little head area. Looks messy right now, but when you see the end result, it's going to look awesome. Tie your finishing knot tightly up against the bead. Here we go. Clip off the excess. Now, take your scissors to start and go under the wing and curl the wing back. Give it a nice curl. Okay, then take your dubbing needle and tease out the collar, which will jet out that sparkle yarn, as you can see. That's mixed into the fur blend. Go all the way around. Even underneath. You're going to push that back over the entire fly, like so. So pretty much this fly is complete. The only thing missing is a drop of head cement. And there you have it. We're trying to drape those crystal flat, or the sparkle yarn over the entire front of the fly, which gives it a really awesome effect. And the cupped wing here that we curl the wing traps an air bubble, and the sparkle yarn just adds to the bubble, the iridescence, and it makes for a heck of an effective fly. What I like to do is drop this behind my hair wing caddis, my deer hair caddis adult, and they go hand in hand. You know, if they're either going to hit the emerger or the adult, but it's you know, pretty much like a hop and drop. But yeah, man, this is the pattern to go with during a caddis hatch. You could tie this in green to imitate the green caddis, olive, and so forth. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Fly of the Week, and looking forward to seeing you in the next. Tight lines, guys, and thanks for joining me.